Hello and welcome to Feral Thinkers Podcast on streaming television with the cord cut. This is podcast number 2 for Sunday the 3rd of July 2016, which I'll tell you just a bit about upcoming premieres of Season 2 of the USA Network's Mr. Robot and Season 3 of FX's Tyrant. And I remember years when summers were for nothing but reruns and everybody was outside anyway. Yes, the culture has changed. We're staying inside and dodging bullets, but the programming has upped the ante and there's some amazing dramas unfolding right here before our sequestered eyes. I apologize for coming into your home late today. I wanted to finish up Tyrant so that I can talk about it a little bit later in today's show. The second season of Mr. Robot is coming up on the USA Network on the 13th of July, or so it appears. They're calling this first episode 2.0, which is a little confusing, but that's consistent with the way programmers and hackers like to number things, starting with 0 instead of 1. I'd like to be sure that this 2.0 is a real meat and potatoes episode rather than advanced publicity, interesting as that may be. I missed out on Season 1, but it's not too late. It turns out that if I start streaming the first episode of the first season from Amazon Prime tonight and watch one episode each night, I'll finish with episode 10 on the 12th of July, just in time to catch episode 2.0 on the 13th. Since I haven't seen Season 1 yet, I don't know just how deep the iconoclasts of the series go. They are apparently inspired by Anonymous, that group of hackers and activists who are probably only a few steps away from WikiLeaks, politically speaking. The show doesn't feature Anonymous's Guy Fawkes mask either, but that's okay with me. It's all going to be a very interesting few weeks of discovery as I walk my way through Season 1 and into the new Season 2 of Mr. Robot, and I hope you will join me because I think it's going to give us plenty to talk about here. Here are a few notes from the first 2 seasons of Tyrants, and they are filled with spoilers, so if you haven't seen Season 1 and 2 yet, you might not want to listen to this. For the past 3 weeks, I have faithfully watched 1 episode per night of Tyrant, a show on the FX network about a Mideast family ruling the fictional country of Abu Dhabi. So now I'm ready for Wednesday's premiere of the 3rd season. Yet this shift from binge to broadcast also means a shift from nightly show to the more restrained 1 episode per week that, after desert survival and war, will require a saint's patience. Then, 10 weeks from now, comes the year-long hibernation. If at the end of Season 1 Bassam, or Barry, Al-Fayed's life hangs in the balance, through Season 2 Bassam shows the resilience that makes him a likable character to his countrymen and to the people watching this at home. But now the whole country is in jeopardy. Adam Rayner, who plays Bassam, took some heat for his low-key acting in Season 1, but that was mainly because Bassam wanted initially to keep a distance between himself and his family and its corrupt governance of Abu Dhabi. By Season 2, during which he's actively engaging a militant Islamicist invasion from Syria, does that remind you of ISIS or what? He becomes a folk hero known by his nom de guerre Khalil, and his somewhat deadpan stolidness of Season 1 gives way to deep engagement in the struggles of Season 2. The creators and writers have taken care that Abu Dhabi looks not like any particular Mideastern dictatorship, and the Al-Fayed family could be any tyrannical dynasty. If anything, Tyrant portrays all dictatorships and all ruling families. Even though we often wear blinders and look the other direction, every government is guilty of Machiavellian measures to preserve its wealth and power. How many of you are thinking, except mine? In the flashbacks of Season 1, we see the brothers, the elder Jamal destined and groomed for the presidency, and the younger Bassam, vital because as family he's trustworthy, at the center of the vortex as highly privileged children of the iron-fisted dictator President Khalid al-Fayed. The father has no tolerance for opposition, and he gasses Aberdeen's second-largest city, Ma'an, where his traditional nemesis lives. This war crime creates highly motivated animosity against the Fayeds well into the next generation. The tribal leader of this town, Sheikh Rashid, patiently waits out the years with his wheezing, gas-damaged lungs in Ma'an, but later his destiny provides a potential diplomatic key to Aberdeen's progression into the future. Meanwhile, the Sheikh's son, Ihab Rashid, devotes himself to a life underground as a resistance leader and a thorn in the dictatorship's side. Even the guerrillas come not as advocates of democracy, but as alternative dynasties. One day, while the president with Jamal and Bassam at his side patrols his realm, his forces detain a man. The president orders Jamal, whom he is grooming for succession, to shoot the prisoner. Jamal balks, and the father belittles his son for cowardice. Finally, Bassam picks up the gun and kills the roadside prisoner. And what is chilling about this is that Bassam has no particular feeling either way about the man he just killed, but he's sick of listening to his father and brother bicker. With a family so perversely dysfunctional, it's not surprising that when Bassam becomes of age, he flees and distances himself as far as he can. He goes to America, becomes Barry instead of Bassam, becomes a pediatrician, and raises a family. Only when Jamal's son marries does Bassam, feeling some familial guilt, take his American family to meet his family in Aberdeen. Yet, as we saw with the prisoner, Bassam is not above getting sucked into the intoxication of power, and even the Americanized Barry, though he came only to attend a wedding, soon feels obliged to help his country with its problems, one of which is his brother. President Jamal al-Fayed takes on the insomniacal sleep habits of staying up all night and sleeping until 2 in the afternoon during season 2, when everything is going so badly for him. He's the opposite of the King Midas's touch of gold. His wife, Layla, of his sleeping habits, remarks, "So presidential." She is, of course, a master of sarcasm. Jamal's every undertaking goes awry, and he even brings in a cleric for counsel. Cleric advises Jamal that the poison is not from without, but from within the palace. My guess is that the cleric, in a riddling way, is telling Jamal that he, Jamal himself, is the problem. But of course, Jamal is too narcissistic to consider that possibility. At one point, his wife Layla, the beautiful Moran Atlas, points a gun at the back of Jamal's head, but she cannot bring herself to pull the trigger. In a way, Jamal really is the source of the poison, but he spreads it around, especially when in the first episode of the first season, he exercises a droit de seigneur and rapes his future daughter-in-law about an hour before the wedding to make sure that she is a virgin, claims. This encounter is all it takes to impregnate her, and later she miscarries and has to have a hysterectomy. Having lost her ability to have children, Layla informs her that her marriage will be annulled as well, and that she should move to some out-of-the-way place like London or Paris, where the Al-Fayed family will support her for the rest of her life. Yet at the end of season 2, with mercenaries, with the help of Khalil having defeated the invaders and even killed Ibrahim Rashid, it seems logical that the president would step down and make room for progress in his country. But as he's making the speech, he basically says, well, all of our problems are fixed now, so why should I resign? And that moment is, of course, the invitation for the woman with a deep grievance against him, the person whose life has been ruined by Jamal. She steps forward and expresses herself with several shots to the head. And that's where we've been hanging for the past year, those of you who watched season 2 last year. And so season 3 has its work cut out for us. Bassam is, of course, in the position of apparent transitional leader until democracy is established in Aberdeen. There will, however, be problems. It's gotta happen. This is just the nature of Aberdeen, and that's going to be the surprises the new season brings. That's it for today's podcast. Thanks so much for listening. You can follow this program through my blog at dmasonwest.com, or you can follow along through any of my social network presences, which are listed at feralthinker.com. This podcast is published daily with a release at 4 p.m. Central U.S. time or 2100 hours Greenwich Mean Time. Thanks, and see you later.